Hi everyone, so welcome to this video. This video is all about feedback. So as a university lecturer, how do I get feedback and what does it feel like to have feedback from my students? So if you're new here, my name is Caroline. I'm a UK-based physics lecturer. Now, working at a university, you're going to get a lot of feedback. So I get feedback from my colleagues, I have people come in and watch my lectures and give me feedback. Of course, I get feedback from my students. And it might be immediate feedback. You know, they could put a hand up in the class and say, I don't understand something, you're going too slowly, you're going too quickly. But quite a lot of our feedback as uni lecturers comes from the MEQ. So if you've not heard of an MEQ before, you might well have filled one in without realising it. It is the Module Evaluation Questionnaire. So essentially it's a list of questions that students get asked at the end of every module to see how they found the course. Which means that as a uni lecturer at the end of every module, I get feedback from the students that I've just finished teaching to let me know how they thought things went. Sometimes modules do a mid-evaluation questionnaire, but typically these questionnaires come at the end of a module. So students get asked normally two types of question in this questionnaire. They get the one that's kind of quantified, so how did you find the course, and you have to rate it, say, between 1 and 10. And then there is the free text section at the end, where students are invited to write any constructive comment that they would like to share with their lecturer. Yeah, so obviously as a human, it's lovely to get positive feedback. You know, it's lovely to finish your class and then to get a load of comments that say how great the lesson was, how great you were as a teacher, and how much the students enjoyed your course. But realistically, not every student is going to enjoy every moment of your lecture course. So I teach 120 students in the first year. I have them for about 25 hours worth of lectures, and I'm pretty sure that they are not going to enjoy every single minute of those 25 hours of lectures. I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to enjoy every single minute of those 25 hours worth of lectures that I gave. So there's a good quote that's going around at the moment, and it was something along the lines of, it's better to look for progress rather than to try to seek perfection. And I think that's a really good kind of message for us academics and teachers, is that we're just trying to progress our teaching. And if we go into every class wanting it to be perfect, we're probably setting ourselves up for disappointment. So yes, when I get my feedback from my students, I am a bit like a student in the fact that I scan to see what mark they gave me. You know, I want to know how well I scored in the various sections of the questionnaire, but then actually I'm really interested to read their comments. So I made a bit of a list of typical things that you might see in a questionnaire. Things like, as a lecturer, are you contactable? Are you enthusiastic about your subject? Are you clear and good about explaining your topic? Did you make the subject interesting for the students? Was your material well organised? Were you engaged with the module? Were the students engaged with the module? So you'll find that each university has their own set of questions, but it'll be typically around those themes. Essentially, did the students enjoy coming to your class? Did they feel that they were getting a well-structured tuition in your class? And did they feel that they went away having learned something? And then at the bottom you're going to get this free text, and the students will be invited maybe to put general comments about the module or comments about the individual lecturers. And actually, in one of my first lecture experiences, I didn't realise that as lecturers we got rated individually. So I was co-teaching a lab class with 3 of my colleagues, and actually the students were invited to put individual comments for each of us. So within your comments, you might find that you have some contradictions. So one student might say that your lectures were of the right level of detail and they could follow what you were going through. In the same lecture cohort, another student might say that your material was too fast-paced and they couldn't keep up. Another student might really like the visual graphics that you use to illustrate points, while another student might not like those visual graphics. But what you can do is you can look down their comments and you can look for themes. So I tend to look through them and go, okay, what were the themes of things that students liked and what were the themes of things that students disliked? And so one year I did a lot of handwritten derivations, which of course some of the students liked, but some of the students would have preferred them to be typeset on slides. So the next year when I taught the same course, I said to the students, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to give half the derivations handwritten and some of them will be actually typed up on the slides. Let me know what you think. And of course then based on their feedback, I can then adapt my material for the following year. So I try to tend to view the feedback as constructive comments to allow me to change and adapt my material. But of course, some comments are going to be there that you actually can't adapt or change to. You know, if somebody says in their comments, I didn't like topic X, and topic X is part of the module, I can't do anything about that. You know, I can maybe try to change the way I teach it, but ultimately that topic still needs to be covered within the lecture content. So I would say that don't try to read your MEQ feedback as something that you need to adapt your lecture for the next year to please every single student, because that's just not going to work. Instead, I guess I would read the MEQ, look for themes, look for things where you think, okay, yes, maybe I could address that point, or I'll keep that point in if the students really liked it. And then just be aware that sometimes you cannot change every element of your lecture to meet the expectations of every student. What you can do is try to give your very best lecture, try to convey your material in a way that is engaging. If you were having to listen to yourself, try to be an engaging lecturer. And then I think importantly, we shouldn't be too hard on ourselves if things go a little bit wrong. You know, sometimes you're going to try something in a lecture theatre that just won't work. So sometimes I might try to illustrate one of my physics concepts with a demonstration that I might think is a really useful demonstration, but the students maybe, you know, think, oh, we could do without that bit. So don't be afraid to try new things in your lecture course. I think that's part of the fun of being a lecturer, is that we can work out how best we want to convey our material. I really enjoy seeing my colleagues lecture as well, because it gives me brilliant ideas. So at my university, we have a peer kind of mentoring lecturing scheme. So we all watch each other's lectures on like a rotation system. And that's really useful because I can see how my colleagues are electing to give their material, and I can take best practice and ideas from their kind of work. But yeah, student feedback is super important. But as I said, try not to get too hung up on every single comment. It's a human thing to want to be liked. We want to make our courses fun, obviously. I remember as a student sitting in really fun, engaging lectures, and then sitting in lectures that maybe I found a bit more tricky, I guess, to follow, or I wasn't quite so much interested in the topic. But yeah, just enjoy reading your MEQs. And as I said, note down the points, think about how you can adapt and move on if you can, and then yeah, put your MEQ to one side. MEQs are important. They do come up when you go for things like promotion, or when you're being appraised at the end of your year, but also the person appraising you is going to know that the MEQ score that you get might actually reflect a situation outside of your control. So if something happened that you can actually alter within the lecture course, that might impact your MEQ. And actually maybe you're just teaching the really hard module that students find really difficult. And no matter how exciting and well prepared you are, those MEQ scores are always going to be quite difficult to get up high because the students just find that topic very, very challenging or very, very difficult. But yeah, that is enough probably about module evaluation questionnaires. I guess I was thought to record this today because we've just finished semester 1, so I now have my MEQs for the last semester to look at. Today when this goes up, I'll be starting semester 2. Thank you so much for your lovely comments and suggestions. There was a really nice comment and idea about discussing actually how do I plan out a lecture? You know, what do I go through in order to get my class ready? So I'll include that in a future video. And don't forget, my Thursday video is just some snapshots about how the academic week is going. So please do like and subscribe if you're into all things uni and academic life. Do hit the like and subscribe button. Have a good few days. Keep looking after yourself. It's a tricky time at the moment, so take care of yourself. Have a good start to the week, and I'll see you on Thursday. Bye.